What's up, it's your boy jonni.shreve, IFBB Pro Mr. Telic. It is, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Coaching Up. Before we get started, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, that notification button, so next time I put a video, you'll be the first ones to get it. Also, guys, make sure you grab my ebook, the Ultimate Push-Pull Legs Training ebook is out right now on my site, jonni.shreve.com. All right, today we're coaching up Chris Bumstead. He's about 3 weeks out of this video, shredded chest workout. He looked fucking insane. So I'm gonna give you guys some really good tips and cues while coaching up Chris. You sure don't really need to coach Chris up, but you know, we can tweak a few things that he's doing as well too to help optimize your training. So let's get this started.
All right, so here we are, chest day. I'm not trying to do anything fancy, not trying to do anything new, so we're gonna stick to the good old chest day routine we've been doing. Start on this piece of prime equipment right here. I did 5 plates, I think 2 weeks ago. We're down to 4 1/4 right now.
All right, so number one, first things first, stick to the basics. You can see how great Chris looks. There's no need to actually add a bunch of different fancy things in there. Learn the basics first, master that, and then move on to something more complex after that, but basics first. Anyway, let's keep going. Here we go. We're already in his working sets. And I'm gonna coach up a little bit here with his form. Now I know you guys are like watching me like, it's Chris Bumstead, he's a 2-time Miss Olympia, blah, 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 blah. Yes, of course, I know. And obviously what he's doing works. But again, we can take a couple things from him and help you guys understand how to make your chest training that much better. So, so we're talking about bench. I'll give you guys some like really good cues. So like the old school way of like pinching your shoulder blades together is a very bad cue. Again, shoulder depression, so pulling your lats down. Now, another thing too is I want you guys to always imagine or picture yourself pushing yourself in the back of the bench. Right? We don't want to just push the weight off our chest because we get a lot of this kind of thing going on here. I want you to think about actually push yourself into the bench, or if you're laying on your back, push yourself into the ground. So a couple things too. From the side here, when we're benching, we're doing incline. We want to hit our top chest or clavicle head here. We don't want to have all of this because then I just change. If you look where my chest is here, here's my clavicle head here, right? And here's my sternal head. So your flat bench incline. So if I do this, I've now changed that trajectory and now it's flat bench all over again. So we want to make sure that we're pushing from our feet, push our butt in the back of the bench, keep our core engaged so we can keep a nice flat back. So when I'm pushing the weight, my hand stays in the same angle as the bar and behind the handle the whole time. So we don't want to have this or this. And I see a lot of this happening and we get this and your shoulder starting to hurt, right? So again, hands underneath, right behind the bar, stack the joints, engage your lats, so pushing your lats down, pushing your core into the back, and then pushing yourself into the bench. And you see when I push myself into the bench, I don't get this roll thing like this or off here. Now again too, there's a couple things that I've seen Mike Van Wyck talk about when it comes to you moving your head. People have asked, should you be moving your head? No, you should be doing this, but if you're pushing here, and I come up to here, my chest comes here, and my head's back, and it's a neutral, and I push back. That's different than doing this. And most of you guys are looking like this, and your neck's all jacked up like this. So again, everything's on the back of the bench for you guys, and push yourself into the ground, controlling the weight, and push into the ground. You can see how flat my back is. And that's gonna help you maintain a more neutral spine and keep the load on the top of our chest, clavicle head, pec minor, upper chest, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to dumbbell.
How to drop so much higher. Can't be an asshole.
Now we're moving on to dumbbell incline press. Now, there's a bench there, and I've seen a couple like specialty benches where they're actually made to give you like a natural arch. It's not a good thing actually at all. It actually makes people arch way too much. And again, it's gonna go back to what I just said about having too much of an arch in your back, changing the trajectory or where the load is actually on your chest. So you guys probably don't have that bench in your gym. If you do, just get on a regular incline bench. So we're gonna go over, do incline right now, get set up. We're gonna watch him do a set first, and then we're gonna go through some tips and cues on there as well. All right, big weight, 150s. And rock back, rock back. Good, so a couple things I'm gonna help change with this is Chris is doing a very kind of like open, I would call it open chain kind of movement here in his chest. He's pushing a little more like this, right? And we want to kind of get our arm in like this a little bit. So I'll show you guys exactly how to actually do that and some setting up cues too to help you guys a little more. So just to give you guys some help, when you guys get yourself ready with your dumbbells, don't kick them up and then try and press right away. You're not stable. First things first, what I like to do is before I even start, I kind of almost like push down, like I'm almost trying to like pull the weight down like this on my knees. That's going to create that shoulder pressure. So for you guys who want to know a little cue to create shoulder pressure right away, push down on your leg and you'll feel your lats engage. Then sit and rock back so we're all one. Set yourself first, get your butt back in the bench, engage your core. Then from here, we're going to open up and have a tiny bit of an angle. We don't want to be here and press like this. You want to be a little bit of an angle here and then pressing up again, thinking about pushing yourself into the ground and not pushing the weight off like this. So the analogy of push yourself into the floor, push, push. Also, another thing guys, make sure when you're pushing, have your wrists completely flat and straight. You're pushing from this part of your hand here. You don't want to have your hand like this jacked up. You want to think about when you're pushing to the ceiling, you're trying to punch the ceiling with your fists. That's going to give you a lot more stability and strength coming up instead of having your wrists kind of doing this or this or this or this. So one more back, opening up, chest up, push yourself into the ground, and then my knuckles are facing the ceiling. And we can really feel the weight here on my hand when we're pushing through. So again, punch the ceiling, push yourself into the floor. We're just gonna watch one more set. He's so juicy. All right. So now we have his shirt off a little bit, peeled down a couple layers. We can actually watch his set. So we got a little bit of an angle, tiny bit of angle that we need on the shoulder, bringing it in a tiny bit more. And for most of you guys, it's gonna help you guys like stay away from getting injured. Because again, if the higher you are, the more strain you're gonna put on your shoulder. But all in all, again, this is Chris Bumstead, and he's Chris Bumstead. So he can do whatever he wants to do and look like that. You can't. Okay, so now he's moving on to a pec deck. So I'm gonna show you guys again, when it comes to like pec deck, cable flies, there's a few things we can do to really optimize the overall load onto your chest doing this exercise. So we're gonna watch right now, and already right now, again, I'm gonna say this 1,000 times, Chris can do whatever the frick he wants. This is Chris. You guys, trying to help you guys out. So if you watch his hands, it's almost like he's trying to hug a tree, right? There's a lot of power going there, and of course, yes, his chest is working, but we are changing the range of motion. You're shortening it. So I'll give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about. So my chest is connected from my costal head, my sternal head, and my clavicle head attaches to my humerus and pulls my arm in. Now, from here to here, that's full range of motion. And it's a longer range. If I close my hands like this and do this, I've now lost that much more range to get full range of motion and full activation in my chest. So yes, when we're pressing here, we're feeling it here and we're getting a good load on it, but again, we're not getting the fullness out of getting all the way here. It's almost like doing a bicep curl up to here only, right? So you wanna go all the way up full range of motion. So we're gonna go over to the pec deck, I'm gonna show you guys that, and again, it's probably gonna translate onto the cable fly as well too, so let's go over right now. Okay, so we're gonna watch a couple more sets, a couple more reps. We're gonna go back one more time again. I also wanna show you how we can make this movement that much better. So again, looking at the range of motion I have here, yes, great chest, great development, everything's awesome there. But again, we're not getting everything we can out of that chest. So taking that analogy again as well, make sure you push yourself into the back of the bench. Even though it's a fly motion, it's still a press. You're still pressing, right? So make sure you guys adjust your handles and your seat to make sure that this is at arm level. You don't wanna have it all the way down here and then pulling up this way. You don't want it too high up, so you're almost doing like a decline, right? Put it right on top, right, measured right by your clavicle head, putting it right down, right here. Now, so if I'm doing it like this, you can see how there's that much more space I have than if I just went like this. and push myself in the back of the bench, right? Fully activated. My arms aren't straight. They have a little bit of a bend, so when we come back, we get a little bit range of motion and load, and then I'm gonna press myself back into the bench and then squeeze my chest, right? That's how much range of motion we have. This is how much we've lost, and this is actually a lot easier, right? And you could definitely do a heck of a lot more weight doing this than you can doing this. So the closer my body, my hands are in proximity to my weight, to my midline, the easier this is gonna be. The further away, the harder it's gonna be, and the more of a load that's gonna be on the chest. So again, when you're pressing, up here, chest, pulling right in, back, shoulders down, again, shoulder depression, pulling in, and we get that full range of motion without having this kind of tree hugging thing. If you're a tree hugger, that's totally fine, but we're not hugging trees here, we're trying to do some chest. Okay, so after this, Chris is doing high pulley flies now,
We're gonna do dips.
and then dips. So we're gonna watch him do his flies and then his dips.
Finish the workout with some triceps.
All right. So if you watch this actual set, he's getting a good range of motion because he's coming a little more straighter at the end, which is good. Now, he did explain in this why he's doing this way. So just to give you guys a little muscle anatomy tip here, the intercostal part of your head helps with chest flexion, so flexing down. So any kind of movement down this way, this part of your chest has priority for. Now you're still gonna work the rest of your chest because again, it's all attached to the same place, but for the majority, this pulling down, that part of your chest is gonna work. So if you have a little bit of issue down here and your chest is not developed, doing cable flies on the way down is the best thing to do, one of the best things to do. So let's go over and I'll show you guys a couple of things because you guys still have questions as to why you shouldn't cross over. I'm gonna show you guys why. Here's why we don't need to cross our hands when we do this. Now Chris is inside fully this way. Again, when you're bending your elbows, you can keep the weight in front of your chest so we can actually still activate our chest. We don't want it back here because then your shoulders have to do all the work and pull in. So we wanna have a little bend here so our fists don't pass our chest and then pushing right down. Now, your chest pulls this guy down here. Right now, I'm fully activated. Crossing over this line here means my lats have to help me with pulling this way. So when you guys do this, you're feeling your chest, yes, but you're actually not getting your chest even more, you're just rounding your back. So you're pressing like this, you've already done the action to here. From here to here, your lats have to turn on to help push your arm more. So you think about it, I'm shortening that range of motion if I round my chest. So you're not getting more activation, you're just feeling your chest more while you're pulling your arm this way with your lats. So you don't have to. So from here all the way down, that is fully activated. So regular fly is coming down here. Even if I'm coming to top here, again, I'm already activated. Now if you watch, if I cross, I have to round my back to do it. And I've shortened that chest muscle when I want to lengthen it and make it that much harder when we're pressing from here than doing this. So again, from here, pushing straight down, all the way up, and pressing down. Think about pressing again. Press yourself away from the ground. Push yourself backwards when you move, and you'll feel a lot more on your chest. So if you want to hit this part of your chest, you want to do flies at the bottom. If you want to hit the middle part, obviously fly straight. If you want to hit the top part of your chest, flies coming up, right? Because again, that part of your chest is going to help with shoulder extension. This part of your chest is going to help with activation, obviously adduction, all of them do as well too, but there's more actions that it actually helps you with, and then the intercostal head is going to help you pulling down. So when you're doing dumbbell pullovers, you kind of feel it in your chest as well too, because that motion of coming down, your intercostal head helps with that and aids that, as well as your lats doing shoulder depression or flexion as well too. Okay, so we got dips. Again, I mean, the guy's doing flawless dips. Nothing I can really say here at all. I mean, like I said, doesn't matter what I say about Chris anyway. This is the way he looks. You're not Chris. So, give you guys some tips on this. Rules still apply when we're talking about stacking the joints. So when we're coming on top of this, now you want this part of your hand to be actually on the handle or the dumbbell or the barbell when you're pressing, and you can wrap everything around. That's why some people do like a false grip or like no thumb or whatever, like this. You want to be on top of that weight because you're stacking the joints, right? So my wrist, everything's stacked from here. Open this up a bit. get over top. So once you get over top of the weight, you should be able to just kind of sit there and hold yourself from here. Now, a little more chest, engage your core back, and again, let the elbows bend, good flexion the elbows, and extension. All the way down, and up, and push. Think about pushing through here. Most of the time when I see people do this, they go with this and they're trying to open themselves like this and pull up. Think about pushing yourself away from everything. Every time you press, you're pressing away. So when I'm pressing down, when I'm coming down, I'm pressing away. And away. And then at the end of that, you should feel nothing but a little bit of pressure from here in your hand and no real pressure from the back of your hand from here and the back of your wrist. So stack the joints again. Right. Last exercise we got here. So we're gonna do is superset again. This is a pretty good workout. This guys is a pretty, very basic workout. Basic fundamentals, but it gets the job done. Machine press, incline dumbbells, and then get into a bunch of fly motions, which is actually like perfect. So you guys can take this workout, take it home, and actually do pretty good with it. Now we're gonna go over to, so you're using 2 handles. It doesn't really matter how many handles he's using. Again, I'm gonna coach you guys up. This is why sometimes we see people do the things they do. Now, Chris is using a little bit of momentum here when he's doing his extensions.
Last one.
Right? So we don't want your shoulders moving, right? If you want to have nice triceps, if you want to get the best of your workout, make sure you keep the load on that muscle as much as we can. So try to stay away from using other muscle groups to help aid that lift. So doing this to create momentum isn't going to help you out at all. Chris can do what he wants. You can't. So we're gonna do this exactly the same way Chris did with the handles. Basically gives you a little more of like a free range of motion with your wrist to actually, get inside and pressing down, staying, pronated in that pronate position instead of being in a neutral position or a hammer grip position. So when we're here, get the weight down first. Press the weight into the floor. So we already have our lats activated. And step yourself back a little bit, and then we're gonna hinge a slight bit back. Not like this, just a slight bit back. Push the weight away, and then you wanna keep your hands, your elbows a little bit further away from your body. So when we're going up and pressing, we're here and not doing this and getting in the way. So most of the time when I see people do any kind of like pull downs, tricep extensions, they end up having their elbows back here, and then it gets in the way, and they're doing this, they lose range of motion, they just look kind of ridiculous doing this. So you want to push the weight away from your body, engage your lats. So once you're going up with the weight, you're still pushing your elbows to the floor so we don't have this happening. So as long as our lats are engaged, we won't have our shoulders moving. So if you guys want to understand, your lats do shoulder pression, your traps do shoulder elevation. So we don't want our traps to get involved at all. So keep your lats engaged from here and pressing down. Keep your elbows pressing the floor and keep them in that fixed position so we don't have them riding back like this and then losing range of motion. So again, from the start, grab the weight, push down, push them down on the floor because your lats already engaged, set back a little bit of a hinge, athletic position, and bend the elbows, and that's it. Squeeze down. Anyway, guys, hope you liked the video, guys. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. You know, come out to tell like it is, transparent, vulnerable truth. Hit my website right now and get the ultimate push-pull legs training ebook. It is out on my site, jonni.shreve.com. If you want to know about coaching, book a phone consult, 15 to 30 minutes. At the end of the consult, if you want to go to coaching, whether it's a one-time plan, a recurring plan, I deduct the phone consult off any package you pick, except for the ebook. Make sure you use my code Johnny15 for 50% off the Power 13 cookbook. Also use my code Johnny for 50% off fitarmy.com. Use my code Johnny30 for 30% off letsgetchecked.com. Guys, go there right now. Women, men, circles, whatever it is. You want to make sure we are healthy on the inside as well as the outside. So go use my code Johnny30 at letsgetchecked.com. Anyway, guys, add me on Instagram and TikTok. Send me your progress pics, your foodie pics, video clips, whatever it is, guys. I'll repost it for you because you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace, man. Guys, add me on Instagram and Snapchat. Guys, send me your Snapchat. Don't add me on Snapchat. Okay. Anyway, add me on Instagram and Twitter.
TikTok.
With some extra like reps and sets and whatever the fuck I'm saying. I get to edit anyway.